like really stay away from, we'll have to stay away from the really extended names, but you can see what currently with the market, just it's still inside, yes, we'll probably be inside yesterday's range for the most part, but the range was pretty big, which is fine. Like these kind of flat days in the market, they, for the most part, make it a little bit easier to trade. So we don't have to like worry too much about what's going on. I think though what we're starting to see a little bit is some cracks in the armor on some certain types of stock. So you guys definitely, yesterday was probably our first day sharpening our swords on the short, on the short side in quite some time, and I think we're going to get it again. Some of these stocks like APHA, this is top of the list. Now, we can't short it down 10% the whole. It'll probably squeeze higher at the open, and then we're going to take this pig down. We're going to take this pig down because it is a pig. TLRY, same thing. We can't chase it down, 20%. I should have fucking, got to the computer a little bit earlier, but you guys know my beliefs. I don't like getting the computer too early. This one's already cracked 15 bucks. Same thing. Now, what's going to happen is the SSR will be on this thing, so it's just not going to, dump properly. But when it squeezes higher, let's say like this thing pops into like the 9 EMA, 20 EMA at the open. I think, we're going to be able to take this thing, we're going to be able to take this thing downtown. So keep both pot stocks, both TRY, ACB. If you don't have, any borrows, then you could probably, like if you're like trading at a Meritard or something, you could probably do CGC, but CGC is much closer to, support. It's not going to crack in the same manner. So that's something, but like if you're trading at a Meritard, like this might be the only one you can get, where like, if you're trading at E-Trade or something, you should be able to get ACB, APHA. You should be able to get most of them. And then probably the one that, we need to keep an eye on is this SNDL. If this goes green to red today, I mean, we got to take it down. We got to take it down. If it goes green to red, we got to take it down because, I mean, it's the only one up here hanging so far. So this thing, it should, I think we get a tank on this thing. It would have been nicer to get it up here, right? But if you look at where the 9 EMA is on this thing, it's at $2. Like you'll have, I mean, you're going to have yourself a spot here. We may have to short this thing into pre-pre if it goes red roll here. Yeah, but that I'm laying in my bed off my phone. You can't trade stocks off your phone. But hold on here. Shit's distracting me. Watch this green to red here. We may have to take this piggy down. Done me. Alright, and the APHA is breaking down its little bear flag over here too. Look at that thing crushed down. Remember, pot stocks and they're dirty little things. Dirty little things. Alright, so add those to the list. Let's go into the gappers. Don't worry about, what I'm up to over here. Watch this SNDL. It's gone red already. Sometimes they don't wait. Sometimes they don't wait. Now let's go into the gappers here. ACU junk. It has been a market for small caps. You're seeing Bitcoin stocks starting to run here too. We had an inside day yesterday. What I mean by inside day is those are called rest days in the market, where like if you have like a big push, you get one kind of red day that's really light. What that is it's actually really bullish, and then you'll start to get another push the next day. So as long as this riot hangs out over this like 41 zone, I think that you're going to have a chance to come in hot on this thing. It does not ORB well. It does not ORB well. So you want to always hit these kind of stocks on dips. In general, though, cryptocurrencies are still hot. We've been shredding all sorts of stuff in the chat room. God, I got so many of these fucking things. But yeah, Bitcoin's at 47,000. ETH is at 1,700. There's quite a few good ones still that are like pretty cheap. You may want to look at OMG. Man, I had like 80,000 of these IOTAs. I fucking sold it. There's all sorts of these things. If they get a bounce, though, like if they pull, then, we'll see what's going on. If they don't, then we'll leave it alone. BTBT's also been trailing here. This is the only one of these that hasn't, broke out. So I do like this kind of one. It does trade, more herky-jerky than the rest of them. So... yeah, this one's got to pull back a little bit too. It tends to trail, but I would add all those. BTBT, Mara, BTBT, Mara, Riot. One thing with Mara and Riot is they do tend to grind, so when they start to actually push and break out, they don't do it in a linear manner where they tend to just kind of grind higher, over time. So just something to kind of be mindful of if you're oh shit, I need a quick one. That's not how those things move. Let's take a look here. NCW. See, this is just too extended. This market's very extended. You gotta have to sharpen your short hats. This GBTC, if this breaks 49, we're gonna have a nice spot on this one. 49 breakout. I think you're gonna have a shot at this. You don't want to chase. You don't want to chase this thing, on strength. Let it break over and then pull back. I think you'll have a good spot on it. Pins. Fuck, Pins really stinks to trade. It's gapping up 6%. It's gapping up 6%. Ah, man, this is a nice chart. The problem with Pins, it's not a clean trader. This is probably a little bit more of a swing stock over here. I do like the location of this, but I think that's probably going to be something we take a pass on. Now, I will get a couple names that I noticed started to... a couple names that started to really, really squeeze. Look at this SNDL starting to get... woo! See this thing? All right, you got that little pop and then... woo. Now this thing is looking like it's a remount over here. BBY and BB. Both of these, I think, have a chance to get going. I would put an alert at about 14 on BB. If it gets over there, it's going to start its next push. And then BBW's over here, had really a nice kind of trend on it. You're remounting the 90 EMA and the 20 SMA. The range was pretty sick. Even when the market was falling yesterday, it was still getting, it was still getting going. Whoa, 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 APHA. I don't know about bingo. Add this to the watch list along with BB. Let's see if there's any good earnings plays running around here. Sava, junk. All right, Zillow. So it looks like Zillow had earnings out. Zillow Group, fourth quarter results, get lit from ongoing housing boom, blah, 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 blah. Zillow, all real estate stocks, by the way, you guys should be putting on your watch list for plays into your IRAs and 401ks, that kind of thing, because with interest rates at zero and housing starts are just going crazy, you're seeing a big push in all these kind of real estates. You really should have some good exposure in your longer term accounts. You can see some of these stocks Redfin and stuff, RDFN, they're huge turds, but they're just flying around this year. I mean, they've always been huge turds, and they're flying around this year. This is something you definitely want to keep an eye on. So Zillow's got its earnings out. I would actually, the float on this is not too high where it's untradeable. I'd actually add this to the watch list. I wouldn't chase this thing up because it's up about 4 or 5 days in a row. If it starts to pull back though at the open, if you start to pull back at the open, you start to hold either 920 EMA, right? You want a quick pullback setup. That's when you're going to get this thing to get going. I do like the overall look of this thing. Junk. All right, cool. Let's talk about just kind of the regular watch list, stuff that has nothing to do, with earnings and stuff like that. And there are a couple other earnings plays out there. I believe Sono right? Sono's got a big old gap on this thing over here too. Sono actually moves pretty well. This is another kind of real estate type of play. And what I mean by real estate type of play is that it's a work from home play, because everybody's been stuck at home, right? What are they doing? They're fixing up their homes, right? Like, hey, I got to get, there's a coronavirus. I should buy some $3,000 stereo speakers, right? Like, I don't know, but that's what's happening. It looks like they've raised guidance. They're expecting a big boom year. This is another one. If this thing pulls back at the open, man, we're going to come in hot on this thing. It's got an all-time high, right? It's been breaking out to all-time highs. This is another one I think we got to add to the watch list. Good. Now let's just talk about like stocks that are like not necessarily earnings, but that just are going to be like day two plays, right? Day two plays. So let's talk a little bit about some just day two plays. All right. There were some decent heaters yesterday, but the two that I want to really take a look at right now are on the short side. We got this YI. It looks like it's an ADS. This is probably, usually all the companies that have Y in it are China stocks. This thing was $12. Actually had a really nice flag pattern. You're in a rubber band short setup right now. Like this is going to be one, like I think we try to fade this gap. If we start to see a level build at the open and if it starts to crack, we'll fade this gap just like we did on APHA yesterday, where, you get the, right? Like the gap on APHA, as soon as it gapped up and it started to show the weakness, right? You take that thing down. That was a huge winner. Same type of setup on YI. Shit. You got this like, you got right multi-day run. You're gapping up 13%. I would double check right now and see if you've got borrows. Some of these kind of more speculative names, a lot of times like you may not be able to get borrows at like Ameriturd, but most of the other brokers, like they should have them. So just something to kind of be mindful of when you're going. But I think this is a potential short. I've got this CPE on a watch for a fade if on one more push too. Like you're up like 10 days in a row on this thing. This is like a shitty oil company. One more big push on this. I think that, we come in hot on the short side. And that's it for the shorts, all right? So we've got pot stocks. We got this YI. Those are the main watch list for potential shorts, all right? For longs, we've got our Bitcoin stocks. We've got Sono. We've got Zillow. These are earnings plays. You could add pins to this if you want. Me and pins, we have a bad relationship. She's burnt me a couple times. I walked in on pins once and she was sucking my uncle off and I never felt the same after that. So I can't go on Pinterest anymore. She hurt me and I've been scarred for life. But I stay away. Now, it is a good looking chart. It's got some nice moves on it. It's got decent enough range, $5 ATR. You could put it on your watch list, but once again, she hurt me and I can't trade it, right? Now my uncle's a nice guy. I'm glad he had fun. He was a lonely man. After NAM, he was never the same. After NAM, he was never the same. So, regular charts. JMI stuck a little middle finger up on it yesterday, but it rolled over because the market was rolling over. Now, on the other side of things, I think we get this thing back. Like, gut feeling, this is about to break out right here. Gut feeling, this is about to break out right here. Keep an eye around like that 67, 68 zone. I think it should be okay. Skills is something that I think could be very bouncy. So Skills had this gap up here, guys. It had some news out with the NFL. So Skills, NFL Inc., multi-year esports deal. Skills is one of the bigger kind of esporty kind of name in terms of video games. Now, I've been on the Skills website, and I mean, it looks like it's just like a bunch of people playing mahjong and shit, but whatever, man. They say they got to deal with the NFL. they got to deal with the NFL, right? So you got this big gap up. Now you got a multi-day orderly pullback. So this is what we want to see on pullbacks. So if you see on the days that it gapped up, it was 20 million volume, 17 million in volume, right? And then you got a 1 day, 2 day, 3 day pullback. See how like the volume was a lot lower on these days that it pulled back? When you see that, that is something that's orderly. That's an orderly pullback that we want to be a part of, all right? We want to be a part of that kind of orderly pullback. So now we're starting to get in this. It may need one more push down, but I think as long as it holds over this 38, this thing is going to start to build. If the market holds up today, and I don't know if it's going to. Yesterday, the action was a little bit weird. If the market holds up, this one's got a great range to it. You know, we've traded this a few days in a row. The range on this is incredible when it wants to go. That's going to be top of the list. Space, if it holds here at the 9 EMA, so space is big Momo. If it holds at the 9 EMA here, let's look and see like how it starts to push out of these ranges. If it does, I think it's going to be okay. If the market gets dusted though, this can be something we flip over. We don't know if the market's gonna get dusted, but if it does, then we could take this thing down. Now I like this ride a lot. I think this is gonna be probably top of the list. To me, this looks like a swing trade. You've got 1 test, 2 tests, 3 tests, 4 tests of resistance over here, which is pretty strong. You got 9 EMA about $1.50 away. This is the same type of setup that Workhorse had when it started to cook. So you have like a big range breakout here, right? If it can break over this trend line and hold, if you look, it's got a chance. Like if you look at the weekly chart on this, right, this is just all-time highs. Where can it go? It might be at $40, $50 if the market starts to hold up. And the comparison, is on this workcock, this was the same setup, right? You had 1 test, 2 tests. It spent months. Stocks get their power from consolidation points. After big runs in stocks, multi-month consolidations create power, right? They create that resting phase in the stock that can really get it going. So like if you had Workhorse 1 test, 2 tests, 3 tests, right, 4 tests, this thing started to push through. You ran from 30 to 43 in a few days. Now, ride is, very, very similar setup, right? If this thing can cook over that 30-ish spot, it's the same price as Workhorse was too, right? And this is a little bit of a lower float. You probably see this thing in the 40s. You'll probably see this thing in the 40s. You'll probably see this thing in the 40s very, very quickly. I think this is top of the list if the market holds up. Good. Man, I missed the push out. AI had a rest day yesterday. It dumped due to the market dumping at the open. I think this is another one. We had, after a big push, we had 1 rest day. Now we're starting to hold over the trend line spot. This is gonna be pretty good. Big pimpin'. Green days don't mean anything. It's big green days. Like if a stock is up 1 penny, is it considered a green day? It would have a green candle, but if it finished up 1 penny, it would be a green day. So if you had a stock that was up 5 pennies 5 days in a row, is it 5 green days? Could be. But could not be, right? Good. AI skills, top of the list. AI skills, top of the list. Workhorse is holding up. It did a little fake breakout yesterday. I'm not sure on this one. I think I like Ride a little bit better. And I do think that this INSG, this looks like a swinger to me also. I think this is one that's going to be breaking out any day. You get about 122 is the breakout spot, but you don't ever want to wait till those kind of areas. You're starting to hold here. As this thing starts to pick up some steam, you're going to be good to go. Like this is going to have a chance of, man, man, this thing's going to have a chance to shred. It just got to pull and hold out of this zone. MP, breakout spot over 40. This is top of the list. It's a big volume pushes the last few days. You're coming right up under that 40 spot. Like, this is hot. Add that, that's top of the list. On the crypto side, I'm big into this nano right now. I'm 494 we had in the chat room in this morning. This thing is red hot. Like, these kind of plays are getting picked up nonstop. I like this one a lot. Fuck, man. I had this thing. I still got a quarter position left. I had this thing at 55, 58 cents. These things are going crazy. If you're not trading these cryptos, you guys are missing. These are account doublers, account triplers. Account doublers, account triplers. Yeah, I think another one you may want to keep it. It needs a rest for about 2 days. But if you look at the weekly chart on this bad boy, check this out. You know, you got this thing just like holding right around this zone. Like, it's starting to push over this one spot. It's starting to push over this one spot. If I think it needs about 2 rest days. And if it can hold in this zone, I wouldn't be surprised to see this thing at $2, $3 like relatively quickly. You know, 2 is probably a good spot. It's the same setup. Like, you know, we were trading this IOTA, right? It doesn't look like much. Like, you know, you look at it and it's just like kind of sitting around. You know, it was just sitting around here in the 50 spot. And when you zoom back out with cryptos, because a lot of them have been really shamangled, if you zoom back out, you know, when it took out this 50 spot, that's a weekly breakout. I mean, boom! I sold this fucking thing too early too. I ran out of shares, man. I had so many of these things. I had like 50,000 of these things. I ran out of shares around like 80 cents, like a piker. That's piker alert. But this is something, right? Like, that's a double or triple. Like, when you're trying to grow small accounts, you know, you got to get a couple doubles or triples. Got to get a couple doubles or triples. So those are things to keep an eye on. I keep an eye on this ONT, Nano. Those are going to be really, really hot, I think, over the next, you know, coming, so on and so forth. Remember, on the day trade side, buckets. We're going to short pots, long Bitcoin, ride, MP. These are all good. Then we have our daily traders, right? Our daily traders are stocks like JMIA that we trade every single day. Yeah, Jesse. I mean, frankly, even a little bit easier. Because I don't think any professionals trade it. Good. All right, folks, that's the list. I'm sticking to it. Bootcamp class starts today. I know a lot of you guys are already in it. Remember, you get to retake bootcamp class as many times as you want. Always live class. Go on the homepage. Tell Kevin you need the links, and he'll make sure to get them to you. 3 days a week, 8 p.m. Eastern Time. We're going to have about 2 months of class. We got a lot to do. We'll probably add a couple adjustments due to the crazy market conditions and, you know, all that fun stuff. Let's go have some fun. Let's do what we do, which is do.